The idea is to offer a place to call home for anyone who feels a bit lost. Everyone here, that means you too, plays a part in it, and for that alone, you matter. There. Breathe. And we are live in 3, 2, 1 second. Actually, we're not. The idea was to do this live, and I was ready to go. For some reason, when I was setting it up in time to go live on 8 Central European time, I couldn't get on my phone to get a live. I could on my laptop, but that has a terrible webcam, so that's not an option. So my first video is going to be recorded, but treated as a live. So welcome to a place to call home. Yeah, so it's, yeah, well, let's just say homes are messy. Life, usually it doesn't really go the way as planned. By the way, this says home, that was a little thing. Yeah, so it was kind of a mess anyway. I was barely having enough time. I came home from the airport where I was this afternoon for no other reason than I just thought it would be fun to go to the airport a few days before Christmas, because it would be busy and all people, I don't know, I thought it would be fun, but it was actually, oh my God, there's a spider coming down, tiny one. Oh, it's really tiny. It's nothing, but it's funny. Anyway, it was very quiet. It was actually quieter. There were less people than I know there are, like just someday in spring, way before the summer busy season. So anyway, I'm going to treat it as a live, so I'm just going to record it as is, and it's it's probably not going to be pretty. The entire reason of doing this is kind of spontaneous, in the sense that I only got this idea quite recently, inspired by, well, it was an intuitive idea when I was watching Corey from Healing Intuition. She always does her videos live, and suddenly I had this intuitive nudge. I should do that, and there's a very long story attached to that. Yeah, so this is way out of my comfort zone. This is not my first video, not even my first YouTube channel, but to do it live and to do it like this definitely is. But stepping out of my comfort zone is kind of my thing, I guess. I like to do that because, it is the best way to grow, right? I make tons of mistakes. That's kind of the thing as well that comes with the territory. But it also comes with a lot of fun, sometimes embarrassing moments for growth and evolving and stuff. And yeah, a steep learning curve, let's say. But so I was, oh man. Yeah, so I'm not really good at improvising. That's why I would never have thought of doing a live, but my intuition told me, I just had this strong hunch I should. I follow my heart and my intuition. That is what I do, and that comes with a lot of learning things, a lot of growth, let's say. Yeah, so welcome. I did put down a few notes because I just, let's see. Yeah. So the idea is to offer a place to call home for anyone who feels a bit lost in these kind of crazy times we're in, wants to get away from the, all the fighting and all the wars and all the nonsense going on at any given time on this planet, really. But it's quite intense at the moment and the past few years in ways that we haven't really seen in forever, I guess, if only because the times are very different than any other time before. And I notice when I'm on the streets, when I'm out, I see so many people just, we have a saying in the Netherlands, where I'm from, where I am, in my home, met je ziel onder de arm lopen. That it translates to walking with your soul under your arm. And that is exactly how I see a lot of people these days. And it breaks my heart because, people are alone, I think many people feel lonely, even if they're not necessarily alone, right? And I've been alone for a very, in many, many ways, but I've rarely felt lonely. And so there's and so with this channel, I like, and I hope it's the intention to offer a place of just, with things as the title and the banner and all that. Good vibes, food for thought and inspiration, and stories, whatever comes up, what feels important to mention. Lives every week. That is the idea, if I can figure out how it works on my phone, which it should, but for some reason I know how it works. I know how to create a video. For some reason on my phone it doesn't show that feature, so there's nowhere. But if I can get it to work, it's a live every Wednesday night at 8 Central European time, so Amsterdam time, and then it will just be posted as a regular video for anyone to see whenever you like. And then just other videos that I do pre-record or just edit, whatever I have created, which I love to do, and I've already created a few for some other endeavors, and I will post them on here because I think they're very relevant here. And so welcome to anyone and every one of you who could use a place to call home on this kind of crazy journey. I'll have my channel trailer. I haven't recorded it, the text for that, so that will be a little later. But that will give you a better idea of the intention and the essence of what I hope to achieve with this channel. So, right. My next point of action is that I was going to say something about how I'm winging it. I'm just, which is really, couldn't be more obvious. I think that's exactly what I'm doing. It's kind of how I live my life. And let's face it, isn't everyone? I mean, we're just trying to make the most of the time given on this planet, and geez, I'm a bit nervous, I guess. I noticed my voice just there. Breathe. Yeah, so I'm doing a lot of winging. Um, but that works too, you know? And I usually do things before I'm ready. That's part of the stepping out of my comfort zone was a few years ago. I had a very strong intuitive nudge to publish a collection of poems I had written a few years prior and during those years. And I was like, no way. That is like, no, that is my heart and soul. It's not just any, it's like publishing my diary, really. But it felt very strong. It felt, it felt good actually on some level, but my overall self was like, hell no, that's not gonna happen. But I knew I needed to do it, and so I did. If anything, I'm not a procrastinator. I don't know the meaning of the word. I never have. I've always been someone who, get the stuff out of the way that I don't really like to do, and then, then it feels better to do something fun, or just. And even if there's a lot, just do something that needs to be done first, and then you can go and do something else. I don't mind if I feel like I have to do something that I'm really uncomfortable with, like publishing that book. I don't even care if I'm ready or not. I'm just doing everything I can to get there. So that I did. I took every step. I researched how to do that. It was self-publishing at that time because there was no way that I was going to approach an editor with that, a publisher with that. And that was a really, really good thing because, long story short, I made about every possible mistake you could make, which is interesting because I really tried to figure out what the best way was to do it. And I had all that covered, but just not, yeah. So I do things. I really wasn't ready to publish that. It wasn't in the right way. I wanted to be real. I didn't want it to. I wanted it to be the way I had it for myself. So anyway, it was an interesting journey to say the least, but it taught me a lot. I learned a lot. I grew from it a lot, and I created something from that is so it's really, really, yeah, I'm really happy about that. So that's something for later. Interesting, a journey all by itself, so to say, so to speak. Anyway, not wanting. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I do things before I'm ready. I don't think most people try to do things when they feel they're ready. I do it long before. I do it as soon as I feel like I have to do something. I take all the steps I think I should take, all the steps I know how to take, do my research, do it in a way that would probably work, and then, and then go from there. That's really how I basically do things. And I do think that is the fastest way. I make a lot of mistakes, but it also teaches me the most. It allows me to learn the most, I should say, and so that's awesome. Anyway, so that's why I'm really I don't even think I'm bad at videos. But I usually write down, I have my story complete. I have it, I know what I'm going to say. I have it, but this apparently is something new that I really need to do. And I don't want to edit, so I'm going to treat it like a live. It's just going to be the way it is, and I'm not very happy about it at this point, but it is what it is. Just like my hair, by the way, this is how I came home from the airport. On a very stormy, typically Dutch stormy, rainy day. Not that typical, but this year it definitely is. It has been storming like crazy. and maybe in other parts of the world as well. It wouldn't surprise me with some things I know from. It has to do with not with the climate. Yeah. So my hair is just how the wind basically left it. I powdered my nose and that's it. And that's literally what I did. I powdered my nose. I also did some lip balm, but that's it. This is the rest of how I went out today. So, yeah, jeez. I hate improvising. I really hate it. And there was, right. I wrote something down about rules. Listen, I'm not, someone who said, oh, these are the rules and this is what you have to do and all that. But I did think of, there's two rules. I've been around on YouTube as a viewer and as a creator, and although my channels have never, done anything much, for several reasons. For one, creating videos that, expose a bit too much with too much kind of data and evidence that some don't really like. So that was, that doesn't help. And other reasons like not being ready, mostly not having the kind of content that YouTube particularly likes. So this is going to be different. This is something from my heart. This is something to bring people together in a sense, to make them feel like they belong somewhere, like they're not as alone as they may feel, because nobody should have to. And we're with close to 8 billion people on this planet, and it's crazy that so many people feel lonely or alone, whatever you want to call it. It breaks my heart. And so what I wanted to do at the very least is read a poem I wrote, and I was even not gonna call it a poem because I never liked poetry, and I just it's not I still don't like certain I'm not really I don't really like the complicated or the I don't know, sometimes it seems so, I don't know, it just didn't really, so I'm always very careful with that because I know a lot of people aren't, and the word poem and the word poetry can just put people off. So, and for some reason I started writing poetry, something weird as well. Now, because I'm a little older, I need my glasses to read. So that's another out of my comfort zone. So this is I wrote this February of 2022. Just a spontaneous, it was just a flow of inspiration. The way everything I do, literally everything I've ever created. And if you're interested, you can go to moniquedekoning.com. It will be in the description box. And in the first comment, maybe that's easy, I don't know. At least in the description box and in portfolio, you can see other things. Everything I've ever done is always just a sudden hunch, inspiration that starts to flow. And I basically don't have to do anything, just tweak it and perfect it, and that's it. Yeah. And that's what intuitive and heartfelt living to me looks like. It makes life a lot easier. And that's a good thing because my life is kind of, yeah, let's just say that you would not be able to imagine what my life looks like if you see me like this, and what, yeah. Let's just say I'm inventive or innovative. I like finding solutions to all kinds of problems and just keep looking for them, even if they don't seem to be any. And it really kind of saves the day, like pretty much every day. Yeah, so it's great that that part at least makes my life a lot easier. Just follow my heart, follow my intuition, and then I always, um, at least the things I can do and the things whenever I'm able to do them, the process is easy because my intuition guides me, and I pretty well understand now how that works, and how to listen to it. And I don't always, it never comes with a description or a manual. So I don't always get it right, or maybe time, like publishing that book. Um, it didn't, mean maybe do it as soon as possible and the way you now have in your mind or whatever. Yeah, well, I will just take it from what I get, and then just, and it's fine. I love how messed up my road to whatever success I hopefully get someday is. Live and learn, right? Okay, so the poem as the basis for basically for this channel is a text I'll just read it. That's best, I guess. Longing for home. Beautiful soul, you need nothing to belong. You already do, simply by existing. The illusions prevailing are reality for too long that make us feel out of sorts. It's not you that was misplaced. I know this to be true because I've been there, thinking it had to be a mistake to have landed on this incredible yet crazy planet, a life with too many twists and turns to be able to live. In spite of the various tracks I invented to move past obstacles, of which many beyond challenging, and despite the lens of optimism and opportunity continuing to color my vision, well, mostly, no matter how dark it could get, increasingly over time. Because the brighter we allow our light to shine, the larger the shadow it casts. So not because we're doing something wrong, perhaps just a really tough but inevitable side effect of diving deeper into multidimensional life. Home is where the heart is, such a popular phrase that rings true. But if we take it a bit further, what if our heart is our home? Our glorious essence in connection to the realms we originate from. To me, love is not just all we need, it's what we are. What everything in the universe consists of, you included. There's no doubt in my mind, because I've seen it in the many wandering or even lost eyes of everyone I've met. Once I could perceive from a broadened awareness beyond the stack of multicolored filters that is never really us, just a cover. Only the bravest of souls are set to travel dimensions to the one dominating this planet with a density almost the same as hell for the longest time. But this is about to change, or actually already has. The Earth currently in an excruciating but magnificent process of the greatest transition you can possibly imagine, a unique event in the history of the universe. Everyone here, that means you too, plays a part in it, and for that alone, you matter. Just like every cell in a human body that may seem insignificant on their own, each with a different role to play, maybe some visibly more vital than the other, but all an essential part of a large and powerful whole, any of which belong without question, like you do, simply by existing. So, yeah, geez, so much of this video that I would love to cut out. It is what it is. That's one less. Oh man, I've been saying that so often because, you know, Murphy's Law is a little bit too prevalent in my life, to be honest. So I usually take a breath. It is what it is. I do everything to prevent mishaps and accidents and things going wrong, but you know what? If they do, like today, I was heading out the door and there was something, and I hit kind of a big glass vase and, shattered into pieces right where I needed to pass with my wheelchair. I'm in a wheelchair, and luckily no air tires, so that wasn't a problem, but geez. So things like that, and just let's just say again, Murphy's Law, huge friend of mine. We go way back, but I'm not always fond of him, to be honest. And I have an interest. Well, it's not really a story because it's not really. I don't think I've ever really documented how it went, but maybe some steps of it, with miniature working vintage fan I was making from scratch. No instructions. I had no idea. I just thought, inspired, intuitive. No, just inspired. I really wanted to make a vintage fan with a tiny micromotor. So I just start somewhere and just, and it turned out really cool. I even made a tiny working switch, so it actually, it's tiny and it actually works. It doesn't anymore. Unfortunately, it doesn't work at all anymore. But I managed to get that, and that was so cool. But that went with a lot of Murphy's Law, like falling, that was a crazy one as well. But, there's one thing I am incapable of, it seems, and sometimes to my own detriment, that I'm like, I wish I could give up. One thing I'm incapable of, it seems, is giving up. So that's a good thing, because it does always allow me to finish something once I started it, no matter how long it takes, no matter how challenging it is. Like my first painting, it was going not at all the way I wanted it, and it looked awful, and it was like, I don't know how to make this into something that looks anything good. And I kept working on it, I was like, oh my God, and I wanted to throw it out of the window so many times, but I don't litter. No, it would have been my own garden. It landed in from the home I was living back then. But so I kept working on it, and I am very proud of the end result. It actually looks really good, if I may say so myself. It was my first, and I think it's the profile of a Black woman. I love it. So, and it's because I didn't give up, which I really would have wanted to several times in the process. So, oh, and by the way, how do you love my mug? That was, so I was at the airport today, like I said. I wanted to go. That was way before I had the idea of doing this channel and doing this live. I was going to go to Schiphol Airport. I'm not, it's a bus ride away. And I didn't have any intention to look for something for this channel or anything. And then I was going around and I was looking at the stores, and there was this souvenir shop, and I thought, maybe I can look for something for the channel, like something, to, I don't know, something for this channel. I don't know. So I looked around, and then my eye fell on some, vintage looking mugs, like the enamel type. It's this is stoneware, but you know, it's the type of the style. And I thought, hey, that's nice. And it happens, it has houses, so home. Amsterdam, it's not where we are, but close enough. I can see it from my window on the horizon. I see the Amsterdam skyline for as far as, you know, it's not that much of a skyline compared to other metropolitan cities in the world, but hey, it's our Amsterdam skyline. And it turned out to be pretty much the color of what I had already designed and determined on for my channel. So I thought that was pretty cool. So this is what I got, and the loveliest lady who sold me. Yeah, so I think I should leave it at that for now. I am just, and it was, you know, doesn't matter. That's a really long story of how I, you know, how I got to this. How I got to recording it, and how I was working up to starting the live and all that. So I hope it wasn't too boring. A place to go home. I hope if you see this video you come back. I hope I will have something more interesting to do. I will, you know, there's a lot I would love to share. So see you next time. Bye. Oh my God.